Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York railed against the U.S. Senate after Senator Joe Manchin single-handedly rejected the Build Back Better bill. The New York Democrat appeared Monday on MSNBC's Morning Joe, where she expressed frustration with the process for passing legislation through a narrowly divided Senate. Take a look.
This now, the future of what is now known as Build Back Better, whether this moves into smaller pieces that could be passed individually, or perhaps Build Back Better is revamped to Joe Manchin's liking. It would then, of course, have to swing back to the House to get approval. How do you work with that? Would you and the others in your caucus be willing to work with those kind of bills? How much more are you willing to compromise?
Well, I think the first thing to say is that this idea that we're going to refit it to Joe Manchin's liking, the bill has already been retrofitted to Joe Manchin's liking. Let's make that extremely clear. The climate ambitions have been reduced because of Joe Manchin. We have had, for example, the minimization of Medicare expansion. Much of that is also thanks to Joe Biden. Much of that is thanks to Joe Manchin. And we need to really make it very clear that this bill, this framework, was signed off by Joe Manchin. And so this is a Joe Manchin Build Back Better Act. And so this idea that we're going to go back to the table and give him the pen again for a bill that he has already has his ink all over makes very little sense. So I think that in terms of that road, we really need to take an assessment of that because this has been, being strung along has been the path this entire time, this entire year. And so there's that part aside. But I think also, as an institution, it is important that the Senate, I think, step up in its governing culture. And I know that may seem vague, but, things that what, for example, Joe and Meek and I just discussed is that there are certain reforms that can be made within the culture of the Senate and decisions that are made within the Senate that can make it harder to do this and to make the environment harder to do this. It is not lost on me or I think many other members of Congress that Joe Manchin had a conversation with the president, 48 hours before his announcement. The Senate adjourned on Friday, and then he waited until everyone was on vacation to say, no, I'm not going to vote for this. He waited until there was a moment of minimal pressure when he didn't have to go back into the Senate, when all of this stuff was happening. This is a very calculated timing. And if the Senate reconvenes, what that allows us to do, whether it's the Senate reconvening early, I believe Senator Schumer just announced that they're going to at least have a special caucus, but when we reconvene and we say, no, we are not going to let people play these games anymore because they are relying on norms of the old boys club. And we have to break those cultural norms that the Senate is very entitled, very privileged, and very protected, and say we are not going to allow that deference to membership just because of the self-importance of the institution. We need to govern, and we are going to actually have consequences. And the concern is that if there are no consequences to this kind of betrayal of working families across the country, of the President of the United States, of the party that one is a part of, then it encourages more egregious behavior like this, which will make it impossible to govern.
Goldman Sachs has said that Senator Joe Manchin's rejection of the Biden administration's Build Back Better plan will likely tank the legislation and lead to slower economic growth. According to the Business Insider, the Wall Street Bank cut its forecast for U.S. domestic product late Sunday after the West Virginia Democrat told Fox News, quote, "I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation," while voicing concerns about inflation and government debt. The roughly $2 trillion Build Back Better plan aims to expand the social safety net in the U.S. with a focus on children and child care and to tackle climate change. Goldman's analysts said there could be some benefits for financial markets, however, given that the bill also imposed higher taxes to pay for much of the spending. Goldman said the odds of higher corporate taxes, which the bank had estimated would reduce S&P 500 profits by 3%, have now fallen. It also said pharma companies may no longer come under pressure to reduce their prices. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to visit us at rawstory.com. And if you'd like to see more of the Raw Report, please like and subscribe and join others who like their news raw too.